Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Canadian Stacker. Today I decided to just do a video. It's pretty late. It's almost 11 o'clock at night, and I was having a difficult time sleeping. Sometimes world things pop up in my head, and I need to talk about them. Plus, I received some metal today, so we're gonna open this baby up near the end of the video. So if you don't want to listen to me rant, just skip to the end and we'll talk about the good stuff. So, my friend, I'm not going to tell you who he is. He's involved in the flood that's going on in the greater Ottawa area. But before that, there was an ice storm that came through and blew his power off for like 4 days. And now he's been stranded on an island with 3 feet of water over the road going to his home. And he's out there and he's running low on food. And he doesn't have a boat. He doesn't have any way to get out. And the government has to come in and fly to the rescue. They got to come in, they got to send someone in with a front end loader, put him in the bucket, drive him out so he can go grocery shopping because he wasn't prepared. He didn't have enough food in his house, 4 days of power outage, and then, now we're on to almost the 10th day of flooding. It's been 14 days, and my buddy's now out of power, like not out of power, but out of food. There's no more fresh eggs, no more fresh milk, all that stuff. And, he's in a bit of a bind, and this is that whole prepping thing that I talked about before. Had he prepped, a little bit, like put 30 days away, he'd still have 15 days left, of food in his home, and it's really concerning me because this is the third time since 2017 that this giant flood is stretched from, I don't know, above Pembroke all the way down into Hull and out to Montreal, and it just keeps happening. And they say it's, like environmental change and all that. I'm not going to pop up the big name. I don't feel like getting, blacklisted or nothing because, we can't really talk about some things without code. So, and I find it ironic, I've lived here for almost 20 years in this region. My wife's family's lived here for over 100 years. They have a big history, and floods like this, they happen, but they didn't happen. According to Grandpa, he's passed now, but he said, that floods in this area didn't happen until they started damming the water up. There was a little bit of flow, but it would just pass right on through. It wasn't until we started making hydro generation dams up and down the Ottawa River, plus upgrading the dam that's at Chateau Dam. We upgraded the power generators, and we did some modifications to the dam over the last 5 years. And Canada, in Quebec, signed and Ontario Hydro as well, signed a deal with New York State to supply power to New York. And their best years ever for supplying hydro to New York State was 2017, 2019, and now 2023. And we're talking mega money, they turn a big profit. And they keep saying that this flood has nothing to do with hydro generation, which I find odd because I'm a bit of a water bum. As you can tell by my videos, I like to go kayaking, whitewater rafting. That's my stick. That's my thing, right? But I'm also a prepper, and I'm also a realist. And what I see doesn't float. If you've got like past history where nothing has happened, there's been minor floods, but nothing like the 2017, 2019, 2023 floods in the Ottawa Valley region. Nothing like that. And it's happened 3 times in a row. They're telling us that one was a 100-year flood, another one was a 400-year flood, this one here is an 80-year flood or something. And these are all meteorological terms, for what, scientists use, not people. We don't view things in hundreds of years, over areas. We view it as what's happening directly to me today. And like my friend has found out, he doesn't have enough food. He wasn't prepped. His hydro went out. He didn't have solar backup or anything like that, or even a generator to start up to keep his home warm. Myself, I had the power failure. My power was out for 3.5 days, and I went out and I pulled my 2,500 watt generator up to the house, and I didn't start it because I didn't need it, because I didn't need hydro right away because I have a 4-panel solar array. It's not a lot. It's only 1,200 watts to 2 Rolls batteries that hold enough charge that I can watch television, my internet stays on, a couple of lights stay on, and I can make coffee and run my microwave in the daytime. It's only at nighttime that I need to pop my generator on for a brief period to make sure that the batteries, are charged. So, I set a timer and my thing turns my generator on and she runs, and I keep hydro. Now, this prep is expensive. I'm not going to lie. The solar panels, I got them for a really good deal. I bought some used ones from a solar farm. So I paid $120 per 435 watt panel. I bought my generator used off of Kijiji. A couple of years ago, I oil change it all the time. I change the spark plugs. I clean my carb. I stay on top of that. Why? Because if you leave gas in a generator, it fouls. So you got to maintain your preps. But the thing that really concerns me is that there's not enough Canadians that do this. My next door neighbor had no hydro. I had to throw him a cord. You know what I mean? I live close enough that I could throw a 200-foot cord to my neighbor. And then his neighbor said he didn't have hydro, so we threw him a cord. And I basically, by the time it was done and said, nobody had anything to keep their food cold. So I was literally putting my generator in the back of my pickup truck and driving up the street, parking it at people's houses, and running hydro into their home for 1 hour twice a day to keep their food cold and allow them to use a toaster. And it turned out that I was one of only 3 people in a like, I don't live in a very packed area. I'm like a rural kind of guy. You know, my nearest neighbor is about 150 feet away. I live by forest, so I can go get wood if I need to. My house is heated by wood and electric. You know, like, I've got my prep in place, and my population density isn't too bad. You know, like, the town population is like 1,200 people. There might be 5,000 people in a 50-kilometer or 30-mile radius around me. I've got a bug-out location that goes up to a camp that's like 40 clicks away. I have a Faraday cage where I park my ATV inside of it. You know, it's inside of one of these sea cans, and I have a Faraday cage built inside that sea can, and it holds a 4-wheeler, and it holds batteries, and it holds electronics. One of these days, I might give you guys a small tour of one of them, because I have more than one. And I have actually another one in another location, because 2 is 1 and 3 is 2, right? That's a principle of a prepper right there. Remember that, eh? 2 is 1 and 3 is 2 and 1 is none. You know, if you've got one bolt action rifle and you've got 100 rounds, and you go out and your pin breaks on your rifle, and that's the only one you got, you're done. You're done. You know, like, your bullets are worthless. You have yourself a fancy club. So just remember that when you're prepping. You know, like, I'm a Canadian. I'm a preparedness guy. I am a loyal person to Canada. I love my nation. I love my American brothers. Like, I worked as a long haul truck driver for 20 years, and I hauled in and out of the US from just before the planes flew in to the thing. And I'm not going to talk about that because this isn't some conspiracy video, but you know, like, I worked down there, and I saw the change between before and after, and I watched all the laws and all the rules and all the crackdown come in the name of safety. And yes, it was tragic and it was terrible. But let's be honest, did we really need to change the border between Canada and the United States of America, aside from a better screening process? I used to be able to go down there with a driver's license, hand it out. I knew the four, like, I drove most of the time across an area where there's only like 2, maybe, I think it was 2 or 3 booths, you know, on the way in, and the same 6 officers ran the place, and I knew them all. They all knew me. I was literally crossing there for 5 years, 3 or 4 times a day. And the same coming into Canada. I knew all the officers. And then magically one day, they're like, well, we need a passport now and all that. So I wound up having to go get a fast card. You know, in a fast card, I wound up getting fingerprinted and all that. And I should have got a passport. Now the government's got my fingerprints on file, you know, because I was younger then. You know, I wasn't the age I am now, but now permanently on file with, you know, the Department of Immigration. You know, they have my prints down in the States, and they have them in Canada. And then, you know, it's shared around the world with all of our partners. Like, I am now on file. And at the time, I didn't think about it. So I've gone off topic. I really apologize, my friends. You know, like, I appreciate all of your time, and I don't like to waste it. But, you know, I felt today it was important to talk about this, because my dad, he drove into Toronto today, and I guess Canada's Wonderland got shut down for some reason. He doesn't know what it is. And he said there was like 30 officers combing a ditch on the way up to Huntsville there, looking for something, and the Canada's Wonderland was shut down, and he's got pictures of this. And I tried to find it on the news, and there's nothing about it. So, you know, I don't know what was going on there, but my dad, he was freaking out about it. And, you know, we have the bear country. I'm just going to use it. You know, everybody uses it. That's been making problems with the eagle, and we'll call ourselves the beaver, and of course our other partners. And today, there was a gentleman. Well, he's not a gentleman, but I don't know where I sit on this whole thing, because I think it's all bad on both sides. You know, people die on both sides. It's horrible. I don't support either side. I want it over. You know, like, I just want us to be good people. But he was worried that literally there was an attack happening in our country. You know, that was his first thought. And a couple days before that, we had a big solar flare. And if any of you are familiar with it, comment, leave a comment and click a like button. We had a big solar flare. I think it was an M2 or an M3. And that's a moderate strength solar flare, nothing too big, but it lit up the sky with like a class 4 solar storm. Where I am, I got to see the auroras. I live fairly far north, so I see them often, but these were bright. These were bright enough. It was cloud covered, and I could literally see the glow on the clouds, and it was crazy. And in Toronto, they had power junctions blowing out, because the grid's not hardened. We had a couple of transformers go offline here, like it didn't take our power down. But like I work, like I told you, in Whitewater, and I know where all the dam systems are, and I see the repair crews out. And that solar storm with an M3 literally beat the crud out of the North American power grid. Like if you go look it up, there was an increase of like 400% in electrical fires for the 36 hours following that flare. Go look it up. And this is something that is very important. Our politicians aren't hardening our grid. EMPs are the primary weapon of choice to annihilate a civilization in 15 seconds. So why are we not taking a couple of $1 billion and hardening our power lines, putting them underground, doing the things we need to do to protect ourselves? I don't understand. Like we've got really smart people that work in the government, and, are they saying these things? Are they being taken seriously? And back to that whole Dennis thing. He's flooded out, he had that ice storm. Had his power lines been buried, power would never have went out. You know what I mean? Had the water levels been monitored better, perhaps he wouldn't have been flooded now, and he'd be okay. But now he's struggling. He's really struggling, and I'm probably going to go out there with the truck there, and I'm probably going to pull the boat out, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to see what I can do to help him out, get him standing on his feet, because that's what we do for our friends. Dennis is one of my buddies, and I care about him a lot, I care about him a lot. I also care about pretty much everybody that's in my community. My dad, my mom, my wife's mom and dad, all of my nephews, everybody's super important. And my next door neighbor, man, he is amazing. Like, you got to have yourself in with all of your friends, all of them. You need to make sure that you know all your neighbors, and you make sure that they understand your mindset. Don't tell them about everything you have or where everything is, but make sure they're on the same page. Go up to your friend, just pulling a name out. Hey, Mike, this is something I see as a problem, power grid failure or civil unrest or food riots, because it's going on. Like, look at the states there over a mayor election in Chicago. So, hey, Mike, do you think you could pick up, like a couple extra boxes for yourself and maybe an extra piece, to make yourself a little more secure? Maybe like a video surveillance camera, for your property, for your yard, that, all these little things, and you got to get in. Like, originally my neighbor, he wasn't too keen on it, and slowly over time, he's like come fully on board. Like, he has an amazing prep now. And I got a couple other neighbors I've been working on, and one of them, he's got a fully stocked garage. He could literally rebuild an engine in there now. So we have a guy with all the tools to rebuild like a full truck motor and everything. Like, we have the parts. We're ready for certain things. Like a spare solenoid, stuff like that. I am not saying that I have a bunch of stuff and that I'm fully ready to go, but I've got like 5 close knit boys that are my go-to guys and their families. Plus, I've got my family. They're not too keen on board. I'm seen as a nut. So if you think I'm not a nut, push 1 in the comment section, leave me a comment with a number 1, maybe a comment, give me a thumbs up on the video if you think I'm not a nut, to make sure I've done this. Like, what is, like, I'm not a rich person, but I'll be honest, I drive transport for a living. I'm not broke. So what to me is, the money I need to get into this? Like, let's say you start off small. You're like, you only got like $1,000. You can do something with $1,000. Me, I've been doing something with $1,000 every year for like 12 years. So, I like these sea cans here, I picked them up when they were $2,000 a piece. So, I got those ready to go. They're padlocked. They're on a secure lot in the middle of nowhere, the chain link fence around them, and, they're monitored to the best that I can do. They've got remote cell phone service and all that. But, we have to be ready for what's coming, and another bank in the States has collapsed today. I don't remember the name of it, but like, it went down. I was watching a couple of videos on it, and I was literally in shock that another bank popped off. Like, I wasn't in shock. I was more like, that was quick. If you think it was quick, let me know in the comments, that they got to another one quicker, if that was about what you were thinking, just, let me know in the comment section. So if you like these kind of videos as much as you like silver, can you leave me a thumbs up and comment on it and tell me if you like me to talk about prepping as well as stacking silver? Because me, I'm Canadian stacker. I'm not Canadian silver stacker. I'm not Canadian gold stacker. I'm Canadian stacker. So for me, stacking is prepping, gold, silver, water, barterability, all those things, so I like to talk about things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this open. I'm going to put it on pause, and I'll come back and I'll show you what I got. I didn't get too much, I got a few new pieces. I always like to spend a little bit here and there, even if the prices are high, which they are now. So I bought a few pieces just to feel like I'm doing something. So just give me a minute here, and I'll be right back. So I just wanted to show you how well this is packaged. This is from my bullion dealer, Saul. He shipped this to me for a pretty reasonable price. It's well packaged. I just wanted to show you how stiff this packaging is. It's got like the dual layer, it's taped. It's got another package inside the package. It's double wrapped. It's very well wrapped. So if any of you are wondering how Saul ships his stuff, it's your choice. You can either go with letter mail, which is what I do, because it only costs $3.90 to ship it up plus his packing. He charges a fair price, $5. Or you can go with insured, whatever you want, for larger orders. So I just wanted to show you how well packaged it is. Now I'm going to keep fighting with it, and when I come back, I'll have the stuff out. All right, so I'm back. So what I got was a couple of JBRs and a couple of buffaloes. I love the buffalo, and I love them. I got them for a good price. Okay, I picked these up right here when I was out with Ron that day. I'm sure you remember the video. I paid the same price as Ron. I think it was like $38.40 or something. And there was a little pullback, and I saw it, and I picked up this butte here for I think it was $38.12. So I saved a little bit. Now I only bought 4 because it's all I had the cash for. 4, $160, and things are a tiny bit tight for me right now. But if you buy 4 every week or every 2 weeks, and you stack for, like me, like for a long time, it makes up for a lot of awesome looking silver. Like, look at that beautiful coin. Like, I gotta say, JBR makes a nice looking round. In the back, look at all that beautiful detailing. They take pride in their product. Like, look at that, same rim and everything that like the maples have. It's got that like nice finished look. I don't care about touching my silver unless it's something special, but this is just a generic round, and it's beautiful. And like I was saying in the other video, stack generic rounds right now, or bars. So, save yourself some money. Don't go hog wild on maples or eagles, because nobody likes premiums, right? So, and like I said, I got myself a couple of buffaloes, some Golden State Mint buffaloes. And that beautiful Indian head right there. I love that Indian head. So many mints make these, but they're all fantastic. At least this one isn't scratched up too much. Sometimes you get a mismatched one and they look off, but all in all, they're great, coins. So with that said, I'd like to take a moment to thank you all for watching to the end, and to my subscribers that are still here. I really appreciate it. Viewing time is important to YouTube. It wakes the algorithm up. Clicking like, clicking subscribe, sharing the videos around really helps out. I really want to build this channel for everybody that's here. I want to make a channel that does prepping, silver, gold, world current affairs in the banking industry. I just want to try to keep everybody up to date. So if you like this stuff and you like it, just like I like to just roll off, and just have my thoughts ready to go. And I got a little sheet of paper here, with some stuff jotted down, so I can kind of keep rolling. And if you like this stuff like this, please let me know. If you'd prefer to see a, like a better, more, I don't know, intricate one like Heresy Financial, where he like does all that stuff, I suppose I could get my wife involved and get her to start helping me do editing. I'm not much of an editor guy. Like you can tell, all my videos are just boom, 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 and I put them out. So with that said, I really appreciate every last one of you. I am very thankful for all of the subscribers, all of the likes, and all of the shares. And I love to read the comments. I try to read every single one. And this is a shout out to, I don't remember your name, but you made that big, huge comment, and it made my day. You guys make me feel special when you leave comments. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you literally make me feel special by leaving a comment. because time is valuable. It's our most important asset. We only have so much time, right? If you live for 70 years and you punch your card out right on your 70th day, 5 minutes of your time is 5 minutes out of that 70 years that you have. And you gave that to me to type a message to me. And that's important. Just like what I'm doing now. I'm at almost 20-minute mark, you know. I'm taking time out of my day. I'm making this video. Why? Because I think it's important and it's worth my time to talk to you and to try to help out. And as time goes on, I'm sure maybe my talking will get a little better. The subjects will get a little more detailed, and you know, I want to thank you all again for watching. So until next time, Canadian Stacker, I'm out.